One of the hardest things when it comes to learning English is to fall in love with reading, am I right? And what if I tell you there is a super powerful way to get started with reading that makes the whole journey a lot more inspiring and enjoyable? Are you ready for that? Let's get started. Now, the very first step when it comes to reading is never to dive straight into the book, okay? So what do? We first get to know the author. And let's take an example of To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Lee wrote about her memories, in particular her memories of her father, who was a defense counsel of two African-American men accused of murdering a white shopkeeper. Now imagine, defending for the minority at the time. In 1930s America, Alabama was quite unconventional. So here's where the story begins. Now step number 2. Before we go straight into reading the book, we're going to look at the book cover. So the visual often tells a compelling story. And if we look at, To Kill a Mockingbird, what do we see on the book cover? We see a mockingbird. And a mockingbird represents purity and innocence. And so we see Boo Radley, that character, who is so harmless and benevolent, accused of being evil and sinister. So there is a message right there for us. Am I right? Now let's move on to the third step. So having to get to know the author and the book cover, we're going to then now look at the title. So the title says To Kill a Mockingbird. So what could potentially be the message right there? It's to potentially destroy someone who is presumably sinister, but so pure and innocent and lovely at heart. So let's now look at, the 3 key steps that we talked about today. One of the most powerful ways to get started with reading is first to get to know the author, what drives them, what motivates them. Second, to get to know the book cover. Look at the message beyond the visual. And finally, let's get to read and unpack the title. Now kids, happy reading. Be inspired to empower.